Hello, beautiful people, and welcome once again to the Soul Ashraya podcast, a weekly bhakti podcast. We will seek the shelter, wisdom of our dear Lord Krishna with Shastra, prayer, and conversation. I am your host, Bhakti Jake, and I am joined with my good friend and teacher, Balaram Shakti Das. And today we are going to be talking about what he's wearing.
No.
Yeah. And we are
It's
also
actually a special kind of kurta called a bungi. Interesting fun fact.
We are also joined by some other great people who like to zoom in, who I may or may not mention depending on how they feel about having their names broadcast around the internet. But we thank you. We thank everyone who's here with us to help us out. I can help you by helping me, and you can help you by helping us.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Totally.
So this time of year right now, Balaram, is a very auspicious time. I have just found out about this wonderful thing that I wanted to just touch quickly upon and see, kind of pick your brain about it and see if you knew about it. It's called Purusottama Month.
Yeah, Purusottama. Yeah, Purusottama Month.
Yeah.
This is, yeah, wow. I'm so glad you reminded me of that because I forgot that starts. I mentioned my Gurudev's coming back to America in 2 months, and that is kind of overshadowed, if you will. The start of Purusottama Month is on the same day. And this is very special. It's a leap month.
Yes.
Actually. So every 3 years, because it's based on the lunar calendar, a month is added every 3 years. And so it's considered a holy year, just like Kartik. Kartik is in the fall. And so Purusottama Month, it's holy month. What does that mean? It means it's an opportunity to deepen in our spiritual life, to go deeper, right? So I just spaced out what I was going to say in that, but
so I heard that, okay, that this is what I've heard about it very quickly. A very, very minimal knowledge of this because a devotee just sent me a link to all this stuff last night. And then today during Manjari Dasi's Japa walk, which I would love to have her on the show for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing devotee. She actually mentioned it as well today too. So what it is very quickly is it's a very auspicious time where you chant one round and it multiplies to like hundreds of rounds. Like it's one of these deals where like you do just a little bit extra, you offer up a ghee lamp every day, and it like multiplies that act in the spirit world because of this thing that happens with this month. And I wish I knew more. I just found out about it, so maybe you can.
I wish I knew more too.
Because I'm like skimming by.
Right. Well, that's okay, so long as you know it's a holy month.
Yes.
So, yeah, the idea is we're trying to make our lives holy, and so we do that through contact with the sacred, right? There's basically, you can say, two things in this world. There's material energy and spiritual energy, and we're marginal. We, the living entity, are marginal energy. That means we have a choice where we want to invest our energy, what kind of energy we want to associate with. So this is something I got from Kaustubha Prabhu. is kind of the point, is to develop a sort of discernment and then skill in relating with the spiritual energy, because it's relational. Like we were talking about a few episodes ago about how Krishna never becomes impersonal, and that the ultimate reality is personhood, right? So material energy is diametrically opposed to that. It means it's impersonal. You don't have to get personal with it. You just enjoy it in a sense, and you can kind of lose yourself in it, right? So if you're losing yourself in it, right, that means it's impersonal. If the deeper that you go into it, the more that you find yourself, because you're experiencing yourself in the context of a loving relationship, which is the context in which personhood develops, right? If I'm actually having a relationship with you and exchanging with you personally, there's no way for me not to have an experience of self-discovery in that, right? But if my exchange with you is just a way for me to kind of escape what's going on inside of me and kind of get more into you and lose myself in you or in it, that's impersonal, right? So we have to understand that this is what we're doing with material energy. We're losing ourselves in all of these activities, in these things, in these addictions, right? Whereas spiritual energy, it's opposite. Spiritual energy, you find yourself more and you sanctify your life. So out of his causeless mercy, the Lord has manifested his spiritual energy within this world, sort of like in disguise, but it's open secret, that like these holy books, scriptures, the sadhus, and then these holy months, these holy days, right? What are they? They're opportunities to have an experience of the self that is, purifying. And what is the nature of that? It's relationship. So as you kind of hinted at, these holy days and holy months, what is it that makes them holy? It's not just like, okay, we have a calendar year and let's just pick a few days to just celebrate life, celebrate something, and then we'll have a few drinks, kick it back and take a day off of work, just not engage. It's like, that's exactly what the material energy is. That's totally impersonal. Whereas personal, it's like someone's birthday, that's personal, it's in relation to the person, right? Or and our holidays generally have something like, it's not like it's just random, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, Bhagavatam says it's just a list of names, like the people that we get attached to in this world, just a list of names. Whereas transcendental personalities are actually real people, in the sense that, they're beyond death. Actually, they're still there. They're eternally existent. And so connecting with them, celebrating them, relating with them is a very solid thing. And so these holy days and holy months have something to do with that personality, some event with that personality, which means their relationship with God. In the highest sense, that's what anything significant about someone, has to do with Krishna. It's the relationship with Krishna. And again, that's how it's within within a relationship that our personhood really manifests. And so the highest manifestation of that is the relationship with the supreme person. So that's where you get very, very personal, right? So these holy days and holy months are glorious because those are windows into very real, very personal exchanges between the Lord and pure devotee, right? So
Yeah.
like Ekadasi, it's
Yeah.
it's not just an. So this is another thing, and actually, I was doing the kitchen seva last night, meaning I was covering the, serving out the plates and everything. So my attention was kind of in and out of the class, but someone asked the speaker last night something about vibration, and like, isn't, like, his understanding was like, it seems like it's just a higher vibration. And I think we've touched on this before. And hopefully what I've just kind of chalked out here is helpful in this regard, is it's not just about higher vibration. You can still, just because you're in a higher vibration doesn't mean you're actually finding yourself. You can still lose yourself in those sort of things. You can still just like get into that and be into that thing. You're into the chakra opening meditations. Wow, really cool. How much have you developed humility? How much have you developed service attitude? How much are you able to pour your heart out to God and call on his names? Has nothing to do with high vibrations.
I absolutely love that. I agree with that statement 110% because I think we have talked about this before because I'm just so sick of hearing about Kundalini. It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, great. What the heck does that have to do with Krishna? Answer: zero. But that you talk to like people who you think maybe, oh, you do yoga, you might be into this. This is Krishna consciousness, and we Bhagavad Gita, chanting, high vibration, and they come back with Kundalini. They just look at you like this and they go, Kundalini. And you're like, nah, never mind. Just go like this and walk away. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean,
Oh man.
yes, we have talked about how, and not to just like completely railroad your point because
Right.
I love that point. And please bring that point up again because I love that point. I love it.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, not to just bash, you might lose a few viewers, so that's, what it is what it is. People get turned off, but we really need to understand these
Yeah.
things. Because, okay, you're into the high vibrations, obviously we're not saying like don't be into high vibrations, but we need to understand the nature of it. Yeah, and I was thinking about like Ekadasi and okay, so we're talking about Purusottama Month. It's an opportunity
Yes.
to go deeper, and it's like deeper into what is what I'm trying to lean into. So like Ekadasi, like the point that comes up with that is it's a very scientific thing. It's based totally on it's the 11th day. Ekadasi literally means 11. 11th, you could say. The 11th day of a lunar cycle. And if you fast on this day, you get immense spiritual benefit. Here's the thing. If you're, well, okay, it's like two things. Okay, actually, this is relating to the class I gave this morning. If you perform any devotional service, you get spiritual benefit. So there's a story of like Prahlad Maharaj's previous life. How have we talked about this? Have I told you this story of
No, I don't think so. Prahlad's previous life, that is so interesting.
yeah. So once upon a time, there was this couple who young couple, and they're getting in a fight. And the whole day they're just all right, like it has hit the fan, basically, like the whole thing has come to a head. And they were they happen to be at a temple because there's some like family event or something, but they're in like a back room or something. Like we have to like isolate. So like, this is like really serious. Like, you upset me. And she's like, well, you did this. They end up spending the entire day fighting. They don't even eat or drink a lick of anything. And then they just go about their lives. They separate, whatever. And that's end of the story. They live not happily ever after. What happens? It just so happened that was a Vishnu temple, and that the day that they did not eat or drink anything was Ekadasi, was Nirjala Ekadasi, actually, I believe, Nirjala, which means no water. And if you don't drink any water on that day, it's like you get the benefit of all 24 Ekadasis of the year. Like all the Ekadasis of the year, you get benefit for having fasted on all of them. And it's like, I'm not super learned to be able to express concisely, the science of Ekadasi. But again, it's a holy day because Ekadasi is a personality who's dear to Lord Krishna, who's very, very, very dear to Lord Krishna. So the way that we can have a relationship with the personalities who are personifications of days or months is certain vratas, certain vows that we can observe on those days or months. So that's the point. Purusottama month, you can deepen your relationship with Purushottama, which means the supreme person. That's Krishna, directly Krishna, right? By taking up a certain vow. And that vow, you'll perform certain spiritual activities. Now, here's the point, is that this guy, actually, I don't know what happened to the girl. Maybe she drank something. I don't know. Didn't get the benefit. But his next birth was Prahlad. When he was in the womb, his soul entered this womb as just a normal, whatever soul. But then because he did that vrata, even unknowingly, he got to hear Narada preaching to his mother in utero for like however long it was that he was in there, and he came out a pure devotee. He fully imbibed those vibrations.
Oh yeah. The story of Prahlad is amazing. No doubt about it. I mean, that's
Fully God conscious at every moment.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that movie, that old movie that they have about him is so great.
They have a movie?
There's this classic movie. It's an Indian movie about Prahlad. I forget what it's called. It's like Prabhu Prahlad or something like that. And it's like an old movie. It came out probably in the 70s. And I don't know who played Prahlad, but he's like this cute little kid. There's like little clips of it up on social media everywhere where like there's this little kid like saying these prayers, and it's like just I always think of that whenever I think of Prahlad. I wish they could remake some of these movies and just kind of make them as good as they were when they originally had made them, because that's actually a really good movie, but the effects, like all the special effects, are definitely dated to these standards. It's still a good movie. It's a very good movie. I think I know it's not in English. I can't even tell you what language it's in, but but all the prayers they're all Sanskrit prayers in that movie. So,
yeah. I mean, I would imagine they would be.
Yeah. So
amazing, benefit just from unknowingly performing devotional service. But yeah, okay, so the benefit is there, whether or not you're conscious of coming into contact with spiritual energy, the benefit is there, right? But there's so much more to it, in the sense, the spiritual life means becoming conscious of that. And of course, he had to take birth again. It's not that he was just totally liberated because he performed one act of devotional service perfectly. his consciousness wasn't yet developed there. So he took birth again as Prahlad. So yeah, there's just kind of trying to back up a little bit. There's material energy and spiritual energy, and we need to learn how to relate with spiritual energy, meaning how to interact with transcendental personalities, right? And that's really what we're doing. And yeah, this point of like not knowing, yeah, it's kind of slipping from me. Anyway, I think there's like the not knowing, or not having, like, not being fully conscious or understanding the ritual and just doing it as a ritual, which, okay, yeah, that was my point, is you're not actually developing like your personhood, your character, yourself as a person, meaning in relationship with the spiritual personality that is behind the spiritual energy, right? There's always a personality behind the energy. So if you're just going through the motions and you're not conscious of that, you might still get spiritual benefit, right? Unknowingly, but you're not raising your consciousness yet, right? Because you're still losing yourself in that act. Whereas the whole point of these rituals is not just to, okay, yeah, that's where I was going. It's like high vibes. Oh, Ekadasi, that makes sense. It's scientific. I can do that and I get energy. Wow, amazing. Oh, you're saying it's spiritual? Even better, right? There's no concept of what spiritual actually means, because from our perspective, it's just energy. It's like, okay, you can get that energy, but the whole point of the energy, the whole point of Kundalini yoga or whatever kind of yoga, the whole point of any of that is to actually awaken yourself as a person in relationship with transcendental personalities. That's what spiritual means. Spiritual means relationship with transcendental vis-a-vis spiritual personalities. That's the reality. Spirit means real, real. Matter means temporary, illusory in a sense, right? So we're in illusion so long as we're not conscious of the reality of the eternality of personhood. That's the whole point. Krishna conscious means we're fully conscious. We're fully conscious that I am an eternal person, Krishna is an eternal person, and I and all the rest of us are parts and parcels eternally. Mamevamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. Right? Sanatana, eternal. So that's what we're going for. So rituals and stuff, they can be empty in a sense, and yeah, you'll still get benefit. Kundalini yoga, yes, it works. Ekadasi, it works. Whether or not you're aware anything about, who is this personality that we're worshiping, or Purusottama, what does that mean? If you do, a vrata, if you take a vow, or you happen to fast during this month, or you happen to chant Hare Krishna, you'll get 1,000 times the benefit. That's amazing. And so it's like on that basis alone, it's worth doing it. But the point of it is, again, it's not about the energy. It's about the energetic, meaning deepening your relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Person. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get back to our eternal position of a person. You can't do that if you're just losing yourself in the energy, right? This is the problem. But there's someone behind Rebecca, like losing himself back there on the floor, like having a grand old time.
Yeah.
He was like scratching his back,
Yeah.
just like totally getting into the material energy. Yeah. Or maybe he was experiencing bhava, like bhava bas, experiencing some spiritual emotions by hearing the Krishna Katha. We'll go.
Wow. I saw Mukunda for like 2 seconds there. Thank you for joining us, Mukunda. By the way, I wanted to say hello to you when you first came on, but I failed to. I'm so sorry, Prabhu. I am hoping that the program went well today in Syracuse. He was in charge of leading the program today, and
It's already over?
yeah, oh yeah, they changed the time of the program. Like, oh geez, 6 months ago, maybe even longer than that, to 11:30 on Sunday. So yeah, they start earlier now. Yeah. Isn't that great though? Still, I think that's a good time to start it. And
Nice.
yeah,
That's what Delaware does. They do their Sunday program middle of the day,
yeah. So
whole
you
evening.
can, yeah. So then you can, yeah, it's I know I wasn't getting home until like 9 o'clock before when they were
Enjoy
doing
your
it.
Saturday, Sunday night football, whatever. No, I'm just kidding.
Football.
But is that making sense though?
Yes, yes, yes. It's a thing of these festivals and how or celebrations. I have said this a million times on this podcast already. Like there is no end to the celebrations. I get a little thing on my phone that pops up every week. There's something going on every week, like the Vaishnav calendar, something like that. It's called. I don't even know what my phone is. Anyway, it's like an app you can get or an email or something, and every week there's something going on, and all these are made. They've been doing them for years and years and years, and they're made to just for you to engage with Krishna deeper and deeper levels.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
that
and it's
yeah,
like even the wording there, like made to, it's that's like it's still like a material perspective. The spiritual reality is they're eternal. The relationships between the Lord and his devotees are eternal.
yeah,
And the very nature of them is to draw you into your eternality. And the point is we can all participate in any and all of the loving exchanges between the Lord and his devotees. It's not just like, oh yeah, that was Prahlad and Nrsingadev, and that happened. And that was back then. Now it's just a story. No, it's a mood. It's that's the spiritual world revealing itself. And that's unity consciousness, right? Is the spiritual world. That means like we can all share and participate fully in that. Unity means unity in purpose, which means glorifying God. So if there's a channel, a window, an opportunity to glorify God, that means no one is barred from that. Just because it manifests itself on the planet some thousands of years ago doesn't at all mean that you can't participate in it fully, here and now. Point is, it's happening here and now, you know. But because our consciousness is so limited, that one eternal, moment, if you will, in the spiritual world, there's no time up there. Whereas here, there is time, so it all gets spread out, right? So then we get, which is fun for us, we get this follow calendar, and it's like, oh, now this pastime is happening. Okay, let's put our consciousness into that. And like you were saying, they're endless. The details, they just keep, building more and more because you're getting deeper into the person, actually, right? People are very complex, multifaceted, like infinitely so. We just aren't used to that because we're so conditioned to losing ourselves and just being so mechanical and animalistic and not actually living on the human plane, of being like really like full self-expression. That's intense. That's radical.
yeah,
To be like fully present all the time, fully personal in every exchange that you have, it's like that demands a lot. So we experience these festivals and these personalities, these saints, they're there, and they're just dropping in, as it were, into the material world to reveal or just to open up, like, here, come on into this sector of the spiritual world, right? Come on, jump on this party. And that personality will continue revealing himself to you as you develop a relationship with him. And if you, again, bhakti is so magnanimous, even if you just invest a smidge of your energy into that, just if you're participating in any way, you will get benefit. Your vibration will be elevated, right? It's a real thing. But again, it's an opportunity to develop yourself. And how do we develop ourselves? This is the key to bhakti. It's through relationship with spiritual personalities. Because only in love, only when you're loving someone can you actually discover yourself. You can't learn anything about yourself independent of loving relationship.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and try, you can meditate, you can journal, you can do this, that, whatever. But unless you are experiencing loving exchange with another living entity, namely God, because he is the soul within every soul, right? That is the end of all relationships, in a sense. That's where everything's coming from, where everything returns to. That is the complete whole, right? That is the point of Christian consciousness. It's learn who you are by loving God. It's the simplest, most direct way. That's the only way to learn about yourself anyway. So why not just take it all the way?
So we can learn more about Krishna and Krishna consciousness through all of these festivals, these eternal.
Yeah, because we're learning, we're seeing, we're witnessing, we're tasting Krishna through his relationship with the devotees. That's who Krishna is.
Because there's right, because there's all these special assets and opulences that he has that he wants to share with us, and that's part of the reason for having these festivals, is all these parts of Krishna that are so amazing and cool. That's
yeah. Well,
yeah.
what is the most amazing and cool opulence of Krishna?
Wow.
Think about it. What is it? What's the most? And Krishna, he even says this, and I was about to say this before he started, that where do we find Krishna? Krishna says, I'm not to be found in the spiritual worlds, not to be found in the hearts of the yogis. Where am I found? Rebecca's thinking. Mukunda, do you know this one?
I think he's driving. Yeah.
He's found.
I try to think and nothing happens.
Oh.
Just being honest with you, dude.
That's good. That's good.
Just like a monkey up there with like the symbols going ding, 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 ding. Like that's what they're gonna find when they X-ray my mind. And a monkey up there with like two symbols.
So Krishna is found in the hearts of his devotees. He's wherever devotees are glorifying Krishna, he says, that's where you'll find me. So the greatest opulence of Krishna is his devotees. Yeah. So that's how we learn who Krishna is. And this is the point. It's like Krishna says, I'm not in the hearts of the yogis. What does that mean? The yogis, they might have access to Paramatma. They might have the vision of the super soul with the four symbols of Vishnu, which means like his opulences, right? He's got the helmet, the Kaustuba gem, the whole kit and caboodle. And they're directly perceiving, the deity of Vaikuntha, of all opulence, the source of all opulence, and they're just like absorbed. But Krishna's like, that really has nothing to do with me. So most religions are interested in that kind of worship. They do their festivals and their rituals because they want a piece of that action of Krishna's opulence. But the devotee is not interested because they understand that the opulence of Krishna's devotees is where it's at. That's the real thing, because that's where you'll find Krishna. So all of these things, everything we're doing in Krishna consciousness, really the heart of it is we're learning how to relate to Krishna's devotees. And a great way to do that is to, learn from the best. All of our festivals, these are like the most exalted personalities in all of existence. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he would ask, I think Gadadhar or anyway, one of his disciples, his like main service was to read Bhagavatam, recite Bhagavatam, like sing it. He could sing each verse in 3 different melodies. Each had a different mood and would like shine light in a different angle of like the beauty of these verses. And Chaitanya would have him read again and again and again the story of Prahlad. 100 times, he would just recite the whole saga. And he was so absorbed in Prahlad. This is directly Krishna. Like, he loves Prahlad like a lot, So Dhruva as well. Those were his 2 favorite stories. So yeah, that's because why was he so absorbed in that? Because he was tasting Krishna. That's why Krishna came as Chaitanya, so that Krishna could taste Krishna in a sense, right? We understand. Yeah. He wanted to experience the greatest depths of Krishna bhakti, of prema bhakti, pure love of Godhead. The only way to do that is to become a devotee. And the only way to become a devotee is to hear about devotees, from devotees. Because that's where Krishna is to be found.
So we learn about Krishna by going to a bunch of parties and having food and singing and having food. That's what we do.
But what is happening behind the scenes when we're doing these things, right? It's subtle, but our heart is, undergoing these chiropractic adjustments in a sense. Why? Because we're associating with like-minded devotees. And so we're actually building character. It demands a lot, especially for like day in, day out, associating with the same person or persons, over extended time. A lot is, it's like my bhakti leader told me, it's like a rock tumbler. It starts out, we're just like scraping each other's edges, like constantly. But what happens, what comes out of the rock tumbler? Perfectly polished gems, So that's what's happening. It's like, we're having a festival. Yeah, like we're experiencing the energy, but really we're developing character, through relationship. That's real spiritual life. Yeah. Spiritual life has nothing to do with like going on your own and just like grabbing hold of some energy, It's like you do that. Like, that's what I was doing for years before I came to Krishna consciousness. I thought I was super advanced. Came to Krishna consciousness. I'm like, yep, I'm advanced. But eventually realized like I'm also starting at square zero. When you come to Krishna consciousness, you start at just nothing. Don't think that you have anything. Don't think that you're advanced at all. Right? Because you have yet to experience yourself in the light of reality, which is you have a relationship with every living entity. And you have been ignoring those because you've been getting caught up in, losing yourself in energy, material nature. So, yeah.
Let's not get caught up in that, okay, kids? Come on now. Do not get caught up in the material energy. All right? I'm talking to you out there, everybody. It's just a trap. It's a trap. Don't do it. Yeah, seriously. I mean, okay, like there are more pressing issues to your life. You want to like understand spiritual principle. I mean, man, I'm trying to get this point across to like the guy that just like stumbled upon this video or something, like there's so much more to the spiritual world than like people telling you what to do. There's a relationship, a loving relationship with a very real God, a very real creator who knows you because he created you and you're part and parcel with him, and he wants to hang out with you. He wants to live in your heart, you know? I wish I could have grabbed onto that earlier, much earlier in life. I really do. Really do. That's the one
Well,
thing.
I'm sure we've all heard this same line many times because we all need to hear it so many times. Is 5 years from now, is the thing that you're stressing about going to matter at all? Think about it.
Yeah.
When has any problem of ours mattered 5 years later?
Yeah.
You
So true.
Bigger issues. And if you develop your character, you develop yourself as a person, as a servant, like that's something that will never leave you. That's real power in a sense. We're all looking for power, yeah.
Yeah. I just am trying to speak to that person out there who
Nice.
just you
Yeah,
never
no,
know,
great.
like, oh, this looks interesting, and then they listen to this, and then the next day they go to the temple, or they watch another podcast, another one, and it's all because that weird looking dude. I hope.
The weird looking dude in the Christmas tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was our first comment.
Did you see that, Rebecca?
It looks like a Christmas tree, Hindu version.
Okay. We'll go with
that. Very first comment. Thanks, buddy, out in YouTube land. Thanks.
No, it's great.
Yeah, now we're getting.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's jump in. Well, we've got some time.
Yeah, we got some time.
We started a little late, so
we're gonna jump in with the prayers, and I am going to. Yes, this is what I believe. I will share the prayers.
I didn't put Om Namo Bhagavate on there, but that one's pretty easy.
Trying to get this to open. There's probably some weird stuff going on here.
Looking all right. I don't know if there's a way to.
This computer's kind of old.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Maybe zoom in a couple more times.
Yeah. Computer.
Get to the border.
This computer is so old that I'm pretty sure maybe yeah, this is, oh no, now what's happening? Now things are all right, I gotta, that didn't work. Hold on. All right, I gotta figure this out. That did not work. I don't know. This computer.
If it's open that document in its own window and then go to share
I
screen.
literally do not even know how to do that.
Okay. Well, you should probably download it first. Right?
I tried everything before the show to get this going. I really did. And it's like.
All right, you work on it. I'll start the prayers and you can just jump in if you get to them.
Okay.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Picharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarne Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So we're on
Top of 24.
Yes, page 24. Page 24, the second paragraph. It starts with Kamsa, however, saw the transcendental beauty of his sister Devaki.
Are you able to get that one up?
Let me see if I might be able to do this one.
So where we're at here is just as a quick reminder is Prabhupada is describing Devaki has become the residence of the absolute truth, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And it's sort of like a waste of beauty. You know, she's become the most beautiful woman in existence this time. Her effulgence is like nothing we could even imagine, but it's like it seems like it's being squandered in a sense because she's behind the prison walls of Kamsa's palace. So like a suppressed fire or like misused education. It's like, what a waste. Why? But then the next paragraph is gonna turn to Kamsa, that he's able to see, although he's not exactly appreciating, because his heart has been spoiled by envy of Krishna. Should I just start? Are you almost there?
I am almost there. Just got there. Here we go. All right, now got it there. And here we go. Sharing. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll begin. Kamsa, however, saw the transcendental beauty of his sister Devaki, and he at once concluded that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had taken shelter in her womb. He was aware. She had never before looked so wonderfully beautiful. He could distinctly understand that there was something wonderful within the womb of Devaki. In this way, Kamsa became perturbed because he was sure that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who would kill him in the future, had now come. Kamsa thought, what is to be done with Devaki? Surely she has Vishnu or Krishna within her womb, so it is certain that Krishna has come to execute the mission of the demigods. And even if I immediately kill Devaki, his mission cannot be frustrated. Kamsa knew very well that no one can frustrate the purpose of Vishnu. Any intelligent man can understand that the laws of God cannot be violated. His purpose will be served in spite of all impediments offered by the demons. Kamsa thought, If I kill Devaki at the present moment, Vishnu will enforce his supreme will more vehemently. To kill Devaki just now would not be a most abominable act. I'm sorry. To kill Devaki just now would be a most abominable act. No one desires to kill his reputation, even in an awkward situation. If I kill Devaki now, my reputation will be spoiled. Yeah, I would say. Devaki is a woman, and she is under my shelter. She is pregnant, and if I kill her immediately, my reputation, the results of my pious activities, and my duration of life will all be finished. He further deliberated. A person who is too cruel is as good as dead, even in this lifetime. No one likes a cruel person during his lifetime, and after his death, people curse him. On account of his self-identification with the body, he must be degraded and pushed into the darkest region of hell. Kamsa thus meditated on all the pros and cons of killing Devaki at that time. Kamsa finally decided not to kill Devaki right away, but to wait for the inevitable future. But his mind became absorbed in animosity against the personality of Godhead. He patiently waited for the delivery of the child, expecting to kill him, as he had done previously with the other babies of Devaki. Thus, being merged in the ocean of animosity against the personality of Godhead, he began to think of Krishna or Vishnu while sitting, while sleeping, while walking, while eating, while working, in all the situations of his life. His mind became so much absorbed with the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that indirectly he could see only Krishna or Vishnu around him. Unfortunately, although his mind was so absorbed in the thought of Vishnu, he is not recognized as a devotee because he was thinking of Krishna as an enemy. The state of mind of a great devotee is also to be always absorbed in Krishna, but a devotee thinks of him favorably, not unfavorably. To think of Krishna favorably is Krishna consciousness, but to think of Krishna unfavorably is not Krishna consciousness. All right, let's pause. I want to discuss that a bit. So this is commonly referred to in Rupa Goswami's, in commentation on Rupa Goswami's definition of pure devotional service. This is a nice one to know. And that's Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmya Navritam. That pure devotional service is Anyabhilashita Shunyam, so it's free from any other desires. Other than, and also uncovered by jnana karma, etc. And what are these things covering up or taking away from? It's Krishna Anushilanam. That, and then that is the definition of pure devotional service. So Krishna Anushilanam means cultivating the attitude of service to Krishna, right? Devotional activity to Krishna. So what's being implied, or what's obvious really in that, and this is a very kind of scientific way of explaining the obvious, but that's how Rupa Goswami does it for us, so that we can really have a very solid understanding of what is devotional service, what is not devotional service. So the idea, and this example is cited because it's such a good example, is that Kamsa, and I brought this up before in one of our sessions, that Kamsa is pretty much completely Krishna conscious, right? And I remember you're like, I don't think so. Doesn't sound Krishna conscious to me, right? Killing babies and everything. Hating on God. But the fact is, like, this is what Krishna consciousness looks like. You're literally conscious of Krishna. You're always thinking of Krishna. You're absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Now, pure devotional service means that consciousness is in an attitude that is favorable. So just because you're constantly thinking about someone doesn't mean that that consciousness is favorable to serving them. You know, this is an extreme example, but maybe a more relatable example is like you have a crush on someone, you know, like in middle school. You don't know anything about this person, right? Just like, I love that person. Like, you're constantly thinking about the person. But then, like, if you were to interact with that person at all, there'd just be like total disconnect, you know, like nothing lands. Just like, so are you actually, you know, could you call that love, really?
Huh?
If what?
Huh? I'm just kidding. No, I'm right there with you. No, you could not call that love because it's you're not there's no connection. There's no real connection. There's no like um I don't know what you would call it, chemical thing happening in the air
Well,
that happens between people. It kind of looks like this.
I
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have this,
was wondering about that.
yeah, then you I'm connecting with thousands of people right
Scintillating.
now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
beyond that though, because you could have that, you could say, well, that's anyabhilashta shunyam. I don't have any desires other than that person. I'm totally into that person. But then the next line kicks in, well, is it jnana karmadi anavartam? Is it uncovered? Is it not covered over by the desires for fruitive results or mental speculation? And if fruitive results, you know, that includes wanting to enjoy that person's body, right? So it's like, well, then, okay, yeah, that's there. That's definitely there, you know. But then even if you're like, well, no, it's not. You know, I just really love this person. I'm just all about this person. I don't want anything in return. But it's like, well, do you know how to actually serve them? You know, if you were to go up to that person on the street and, you know, offer to render some service to them, not to sound, you know, rude, but
Right.
right,
Like
it's
a
like,
bottle of
what can
water
you
or
actually do?
something.
Do you have a real, and I think that's what you're getting at, right? Is there chemistry, meaning like, are you able, but what do we call the thing that follows chemistry? It's called service. You know, if you actually love means service. You can't have love without service. You cannot claim, and that's what Rupa Goswami is making clear. You can't claim that you love someone, you know, just because you're absorbed in them. You have to be able to serve them. So taking that to an extreme sort of perverted reflection, Kamsa was totally absorbed in Krishna in the way that every devotee aspires to be, to the degree, I should say, that he couldn't look anywhere, he couldn't do anything without thinking of Krishna. You know, that's amazing. It's like, this is like a total fluke that this could happen like this
Yeah.
without loving attachment.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm struggling to be absorbed in Krishna with loving attachment, you know, like I'm just so far from that. But that's pure, you know. So Krishnanu Shilanam means that you know how to serve Krishna, means it's favorable. What you're doing definitely will please Krishna. The way that you're trying to serve him, your absorption in him, and everything that you're trying to do in relation to him will be pleasing to him. And how? The anu is the key word. Anu means to follow. Is there a good example of that?
So even though
Rupa Nuga means followers of Rupa.
right, so even though Kamsa did not have loving service towards Krishna, he was still Krishna consciousness because there was like this drive that he could not stop. He was thinking about him night and day when he walked. What was it say here? While eating, while walking, eating, working, in all situations of his life, there's just like this drive in the back of your mind, like you can't get this person off of your mind. Just constantly there, you know? Yeah.
That's
So
so.
yeah, so he
So
had that, but it was not
he's on like,
devotion.
what's that?
But so Kamsa had that, it just wasn't in loving devotion. It was like,
right. So Prabhupada is saying because of that, you can't actually call it Krishna consciousness. He's Krishna conscious, but Krishna consciousness proper means Anyabhilash Dashunyam Jnana Karmani Navatam. Krishna Anushilam Bhakti or Ushta. I'm missing a word in there. There's a word before Krishna Anushilanam. Anyway, I'll kick myself that later. It means, yeah, favorable. And so how do we know how to serve Krishna favorably? Is Anu means to follow. So Rupa Nuga, we as Hare Krishnas designate ourselves as Rupa Nugas. This is a good quiz word to know. Is Rupa Nuga means we're followers of Sri Rupa, means that the Krishna consciousness movement is being conducted under the supervision of Sri Rupa Goswami. This is Lord Chaitanya specifically, delegated his entire movement to Rupa. Very, very exalted personality. So it means we're learning how to serve Krishna through the line of disciplic succession, through the great acharyas, the spiritual masters. And so that's how parampara works. So again, spiritual life means a deepening of personhood, personal relationship. And how we do that is through association and through following. It's a cultivation.
yes.
Yeah. So Kamsa, he was bereft
Yeah.
of that kind of association.
Not cultivating, he's just
Not cultivating.
He's like that bad guy on the Smurfs, Oh, I'm gonna get him one of these days. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe like Darth Vader. Shall we read some more? It's Sunday. Let's read some more.
Okay, sure. You want to read the next paragraph?
Sure. Oh, I can't read and do the thing at the same time. Hold on. Let me try to get it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can actually. Just a moment. Okay. Very nice. That was slick. That was very slick. That was a good transition. Flawless. Okay. At this time, Lord Brahma and Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by the great sages like Narada and followed by many other demigods, invisibly appeared in the house of Kamsa. They began to pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in select verses, which are very pleasing to the devotees and which award fulfillment of their desires. The first words they spoke acclaimed that the Lord is true to his vow. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna descends to this material world just to protect the pious and destroy the impious. That is his vow. Demigods could understand that the Lord has taken his residence within the womb of Devaki to fulfill his vow, and they were very glad that the Lord was appearing in order to fulfill his mission. How do you like that? How do you like that? You want to do one more? Or is it painful?
Yeah, let's do.
I'm just trying not to hurt anybody's years by talking. All right, we'll do one more. I'll do one more of this one right here. I'll highlight it for everybody. Okay, here we go. All right. Then the demigods addressed the Lord as Satyam Param, or the supreme absolute truth. Everyone is searching after the truth. That is the philosophical way of life. The demigods give information that the supreme absolute truth is Krishna. One who becomes fully Krishna conscious can attain the absolute truth. Krishna is the absolute truth because, unlike relative truth, he is truth in all three phases of eternal time. Time is divided into past, present, and future. Krishna is truth always, past, present, and future. In the material world, everything is being controlled by supreme time. In the course of past, present, and future, but before the creation, Krishna was existing. And when there is creation, everything is resting in Krishna. And when this creation is finished, Krishna will remain. Therefore, he is the absolute truth in all circumstances. If there is any truth within this material world, it emanates from the supreme truth, Krishna. If there is any opulence within this material world, the cause of the opulence is Krishna. If there is any reputation within this material world, the cause of the reputation is Krishna. If there is any strength within this material world, the cause of such strength is Krishna. If there is any wisdom and education within this material world, the cause of such wisdom and education is Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is the source of all relative truths. Jai. How do you like that one?
Incredible. You know, I find it just really almost curious, like very interesting, the way that the demigods compose prayers. You know, it's not like the way that we would think. It's like totally on a different kind of operating system. You know, they state these things, and it's kind of, it can be a little dry, plus like you know, you are true for all times. You know, you are the source of everything before this world existed. You were here. But it's, yeah, I just think it's really interesting. It's sort of like they're really, what I'm picking up on them doing is they're really trying to establish who this person is that they're talking to. And that's, again, like, that's personal. They're getting personal. It's not like, you know, again, like you go up to your crush and it's like, what are you gonna say? Like, you don't know anything about this person. Like, oh, like, you just look so amazing. It's like, actually, I'm
Stand there and you go,
oh, well, you know, it
you
suits
just
me
stand
now.
there and you go, I like
Or
it.
yeah, the monkey with symbols is up there. That's usually.
And that's what I do. That's how I get them. I like you.
Oh my god, this show's getting
That's
canceled.
all you got to do out there, dudes. Me here. I like you. And then go like this. Yeah, this one's gonna be wild. Wild.
Yeah, and then the person will think, wow, this person knows how to properly glorify me. They understand my position.
So we have Lord Brahma Lord Shiva and Narada all hanging out in Kamsa's house now.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I mean, dude, this is getting pretty serious now.
Yeah. High profile party going on here.
VIP, you could say.
One might say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Unless you have
Yeah.
foreheads, you're not invited. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, this is something I would like to hear from some more advanced to really kind of churn out these prayers. This is something I would love to hear from Kirtaneshwar about. I'm sure he would have something really good to say about this.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. We are like super way over time at the moment right now. And this seems like a good place to when he comes on, we can bring this up. We can bring it up right from this point.
Yeah, just park it here.
That's
anyway. Here's where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quoting like Bhagavad Gita shloks.
Yeah.
Haven't been spoken yet, of course, but the philosophy, actually Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, he's pulling from a lot of like Upanishads and stuff. Fun fact. He's kind of paraphrasing a lot of like scripture, actually. But that, Purusottama Sadhanam, Vinashya Chaduskam.
Yeah.
So they're first and foremost, they're establishing this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let us glorify you and recognize you for who you are, and then we'll, only then can we kind of make some requests and so forth. So yeah, they're just, every time the demigods pray to the Lord, it's always like super rich philosophy, but it can feel a little dry.
Yeah.
But it's important for us to hear so that we don't get impersonal with Krishna.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you once again for joining us on this magical mystery tour through the Krishna book. And thank you for liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel. And thank you for liking this video. And we will recite the Maha Mantra 3 times and close this episode down. Until next time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, beautiful people.
Real quick, Prabhu, I just remembered Purusottama Month is starting this Tuesday, I believe. So excellent time to step up your devotional service, as we discussed earlier. One recommended vrata or vow to take is every day to sing the Jagannath Astakam.
I'm writing that down right now.
Look that one up. The refrain to that is very commonly sung in Rath Yatras because it's a song to Jagannath, the Purushottama, the Supreme Person, Lord of the Universe.
Yes.
So Jagannatha Swami Nayana Padagami Bhavatu Me. But it's a beautiful, beautiful song, and you can just look it up on YouTube and sing along to it, with the lyrics. And that's a very, very, very wonderful way to, enhance your Purushottama.
Jayo Jagannath ki Jai. All right, beautiful people. We will catch you next time. Be good, be safe. Keep Krishna near and dear to you. We shall see you. Hare 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 Bol.